Hey guys, it's Christine, also known as IvyWinter. Thanks for joining me for another Disney video. I love talking Disney. So this video is going to cover a question that is asked quite a lot, just in general when it comes to planning a Disney World vacation. And I'm talking Disney World specifically, as opposed to Disneyland, because again, I just have more experience with those parks. But the question is, when is the best time of year to visit Disney World? So the honest answer that I'm going to give you in the upfront is it totally depends. And I know that's kind of a crappy answer. That's like, okay, wow, well, thanks, Christine. You didn't really actually help me. I think it's about weather, it's about holidays you want to visit for. It's all a little bit of a matter of opinion. I'm going to give you my opinion on when I think the best times of the year are to visit Disney World and why maybe some other times aren't so great. So to me, there are two really good times to visit Disney World. Those would be January to early March with some caveats, and October. So let's talk about January to early March first. I've been to Disney World a couple of times during January, once late February into early March, and we'll be doing January again next year for 2017. And the reason I think this is one of the best times to go is there's a few different reasons. So one, the weather is fantastic. Generally, if we're going to Florida in the summer, even into like September, sometimes even as early as late spring, it is hot. Like, I'm going next month in August, and I am dreading a little bit how hot it is. Apparently, it's feeling like 110 degrees every day there. That's a little higher than usual, but still, it's just hot. It's hot, it's unbearably so, very humid. You really need to take breaks. You really need to hydrate. It can make you and your family miserable if you're not used to that kind of heat and if you don't know how to handle it. January, on the flip side, has what I consider pretty nice weather. During the day, it hits like 60s, low 70s. At night, it can be a little chilly, and it has been known to even go down into the high 40s. As someone who comes from New York, that's like not cold at all. Like, January for us is like, we have like 20s as our high. So going to Florida during that time is still a nice break from the winter, but still keeping that in mind, definitely pack layers when you go during that time of year. For some people, that can be kind of a detraction because you feel like you need to pack more stuff. Like, well, I need to have jeans, but what if it gets hot and I need shorts, and like, I'll bring a bathing suit in case it's warm enough one of my days, but then I also need a hoodie. And so that could be a turn off for that time of year. It's just like feeling like you need to pack extra clothing options. But overall, I think the weather is super nice, and midday it's like super comfortable and really great. And another great reason is it is value season. So value season is usually the lowest crowds season. The reason that it's value is because they're trying to attract you in with cheaper prices because there are less crowds. Now, something I've seen kind of thrown around lately is like, there is no low season at Disney World anymore. Like, it's just so crazy crowded all the time. Yes, I can say that January is more crowded now than it was maybe 5 years ago, but there still is a substantial difference between like January crowds and July crowds, trust me. So you're going to be dealing with a lot less people depending on when you go. Now, you should really avoid President's Weekend. You should avoid Martin Luther King weekend. You should avoid the January marathons, unless you're running a marathon and you want to be a part of that. Awesome, kudos to you. But if you are just going in general at that time of year, obviously, like, avoid the holidays if you can. In some situations, if you have kids and that's when they're off from school, then it makes sense and that's when you gotta go. But there definitely can be high times of crowds in January, February. So avoiding those holidays if you can means that you can hit some weeks where it's really low crowds. And I'm talking like, wait times not really hitting more than 20 minutes for most rides. Your big rides are still going to hit 45 minutes, maybe an hour. But when you compare that to how that can be in the summer, which can be 2+ hours for some waits, it's still great. Some people would argue that that time of year has shorter park hours, so it's not as worth it. You're not getting as much time in the parks. But I argue that with less crowds, you don't need as much time in the parks because you can get a lot more done in a short amount of time because you're waiting less for all of these rides overall. And you're still going to get your wishes probably at 8 p.m. instead of 10 p.m. because it gets darker earlier. And you're still going to have pretty decent park hours, and you'd be surprised how much they actually extend it. The closer you get to your vacation, Disney tends to always tweak their park hours, and I've seen them open in January as late as 11 p.m. So by no means, just because it's winter time and just because it's slow time, does that necessarily mean all the park hours are going to be short. But I think that you can still take advantage of the low crowds, and so short park hours aren't really a deterrent for me personally. So if you can't go January, February, I like October, much for the similar reasons. It's fairly low crowd, especially if you go mid-October on and before the holiday season, because holidays get crazy again. It's really nice weather. Like, September can still be very, very hot, as proof of my September vlogs from last year. It was so hot. But October really starts to cool down, but it's still nice. It's still, hitting the 80s, but like not as humid, but you can still get your pool days. You can still get your water park days, more so than maybe in January. And you have lower crowds to deal with. You also have Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. And you also have Food and Wine around that time. For me, two of my favorite events. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is a ticketed event. Food and Wine is not. It is included with your ticket to Epcot, so that's super great. If you're into food, if you're into drinks, definitely a time of year to go. If you're into Halloween, as I am, it is my favorite holiday. It beats Christmas by a wide margin for me. Then definitely go to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. If you have an annual pass, you get a discount, but even without a discount, it's not too crazy. If you don't go to the party, you're going to end up getting kicked out of the parks anyway, since it is a ticketed event. So consider it if you want more time in the parks. If you enjoy Halloween, they have their own parade, their own fireworks. You can go trick-or-treating no matter what your age. You get to meet characters in their Halloween costumes. It's all super, super fun. And I mean, just seeing the Magic Kingdom all done up in Halloween decor is really awesome. On the flip side, what are the worst times of year? Again, this is all really relative, but personally, I find summer is just a really tough time to go physically. Like I said, it's very, very hot. You're gonna find that you're really gonna want to take more breaks, and you can't really gun-ho it through the parks so much because it gets so hot midday that you need to get out of that sun. We're talking, you're risking heat exhaustion, heat stroke, getting burnt, sunburn. People don't realize, like, you're still walking around the park, and even if you're in and out of rides, you can still definitely get sunburn. So make sure you bring that suntan lotion if you do go in the summer. It's also very high crowds, so you're hot and sweaty, and you're surrounded by so many other hot and sweaty people. So it's not the most ideal time. And then I think the other not so great time is Christmas, New Year's Eve time, mostly because it's notoriously the most crowded time of the year to go. And I've never been for New Year's. I would like to go for New Year's, but that scares me a little bit. I feel like I will one day, just to say that I have, just as I feel like I want to one day for 4th of July to say that I have. But I think any of those major holidays, not a really great time of year to go unless you just so badly want to see the New Year's Eve fireworks and maybe do the Christmas party. But even that extends across, I think November to I don't even know how far the Christmas party goes. I guess end of December. So you don't necessarily have to pick around Christmas to be able to get that full experience. They really extend their Christmas experience, so consider going at a time between maybe Thanksgiving and Christmas, or before Thanksgiving, where it's just not as crazy. But anyway, those are my favorite times of the year to go. I also think spring is also a pretty good choice if you can avoid spring break. It's really good to check what Orlando's spring break is, because you're going to see a lot of those kids just driving over and with their parents and going, so you might want to avoid that. But in general, try to go off the spring break week or, not Easter weekend if you can help it, because it'll be less crowded the other times. And you also have Flower and Garden Festival happening in the spring, which is another, part of your Epcot ticket event. So that could be a really good reason to go too. So that's a really nice time to go as well. Still not too crazy hot. Crowds can be manageable if you go the right week. So yeah, there you have it. My favorite times are, January through early March and October. What are your favorite times to go to Disney World? I'd love to hear more about when you like to plan your trips and why. Is it special events and holidays you like to plan around? Is it crowds? Is it cost? Let me know in the comments below. You can also tweet me your answer at IvyWinterYT. And if you've enjoyed this video, please feel free to subscribe. I promise I will not bombard you with too many videos. You'll probably get a couple a week into your inbox, and they'll be about Disney, they might be about video games, they might be about just vlogging in general. So thanks so much for watching another video. I always super appreciate it, and have a great rest of the day. Bye.